In today's video, we're going to take a look at the S&P 500, the SPX, to determine if there is a short opportunity coming up and the two key factors to keep in mind before you short this market. So looking at the daily time frame, the last time that we talked about this was back here through this area. So on this breakout, what I was looking for was a potential close back below this area here to determine if this was a fake out and give us that reversal down here toward imbalances like the one right down here below these lows. We never did get that, of course, and the market took off here toward resistance. Now, what I've been telling VIP members for the past week or so is I was looking for a sweep of these highs back here. And the reason for that is because we had buy side liquidity that built up above those highs. So a lot of people were trying to short the market up here, and their stops would have been placed up here above those highs. So this right here is a liquidity sweep of those August highs. Now, you can also see where the market is coming into this trend line off of the all-time high. So let's take a look at that. And also, by the way, speaking of the VIP group, guys, if you do want to join right now, it is 70% off lifetime access to the VIP group. So I'm launching a course next month that's going to show you how I trade, including a trading system that I've developed based on liquidity sweeps. I've back tested the system, forward tested the system, and the returns have been very solid. So check out the link at the top of this video or in the description of this video for a link to 70% off VIP. You're also going to get daily videos on 5 to 10 markets, exclusive charts and setups, being able to see my trades in real time. You can also ask questions in the group. There's over 1,600 members in the group. So it is in Discord, which is a great platform for real-time discussion. Okay, so let's go to the 5-day time frame. Okay, so looking at this here for the S&P 500, you can see where off of the all-time high, we've got this trend line. Now, it's not the strongest trend line, but the fact that it extends off of the all-time high is a significant factor. Now, you can also see where we've had a very aggressive run up here from the S&P 500, leaving a lot of liquidity, a lot of imbalances here to the downside. So, I think right now shorts are risky here, just given the bullish momentum we've seen. However, at the same time, this is not where I want to buy a market. I don't want to buy a market high into resistance. So even though you could be looking at this and saying, well, why would you want to sell this market given the bullish momentum? The reason for that is that I don't want to buy into resistance like this one up here. And we also have, like I said, a lot of inefficiencies that have built up here along the way. So if you're looking to buy a market, it's kind of common sense, but you're looking to buy low and sell high. So that's exactly why I'm looking for shorts up here in this area, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking for from the SPX. Okay, so this is not a case where, in my opinion, you just want to go shorting up here blindly with, a large position just because we don't know if the market is going to reverse from here or we're just going to see a breakout. Okay, so a couple of things, and the first thing being that there is a gap that you can't see on this chart because this does show futures pricing. But if we go to something like this CFD chart, you can see where we have a gap right back here at 45.76. So gaps like this back here do tend to fill. And so with the S&P being so close to that, there is a chance that we see 45.76 fill this gap before we see any kind of rotation lower. Okay, so when we go and look at this chart, you can see that we have this area right back here. So 45.76. Let's get that on the chart because you can see that today did not quite fill in that gap. So we could see one more high here from the SPX before we see any kind of material weakness. Okay, so that's just a side note, but the two key factors for a short here from the SPX is going to be, first of all, we need to see the US dollar index, the DXY, continue higher and reclaim levels like this one around 104. So what we've looked at here for the DXY, both in the VIP group and also here on YouTube, is that the market came into the yearly open at 103.50 here, and we had the reclaim yesterday. So this is why I was saying to start looking for Euro shorts in the past two videos, which is playing out really nicely today, because we are getting that dollar strength. However, you can see that so far today, it's very clear what the DXY has to do here to continue to strengthen. And that is reclaim these lows back here around 104. So currently, those are serving as resistance. So the DXY has to get above that to reclaim that as support and also get above 104.40 in order to expose levels like the 105.06 level. And this is going to matter for the SPX because the dollar tends to move inversely to stocks. So if we see the DXY start to strengthen and reclaim those levels, that's going to be the first requirement for any short on the SPX. Now, the second factor, okay, and if we don't get that too, by the way, if we don't get that and we see the DXY just rotate lower from this level and start to take out these lows down here, okay, and trade down here, then that's going to negate any kind of short setup on the SPX because, again, we need dollar strength here in order to justify shorting equities. Now, the second factor, okay, for shorting the SPX, and this is really, really important, as you can see that right back here, we have the highs from August. Okay, so this is what allowed that buy-side liquidity to build up. And you can also see where we have these two highs right here off of 45.24. Now, what's really interesting is what happened this week on the retest as new support. Okay, so even though we did not get the close below 45.24, notice where this low occurred right there at that key level. So what this is telling us is that the market is paying attention to this level. This is a critical component to any short here for the SPX. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. The ideal scenario here for a short is going to be continued DXY strength, right? Reclaim the 104 level I just showed you. And as for the SPX, come up here, close in that gap from 45.76, stay below the all-time high trend line. Okay, and then also get that close below 45.24, right? A sustained break back below here indicates that this up here is our fake out, right? And that alone could put pressure on the market down here toward levels like 44.20 to fill in sell side imbalances like this one down here. All right, because notice this big green candle, we got a very shallow retracement of that. Okay, so there is a lot of liquidity, downside liquidity here for the SPX if we do get the rotation lower, but those are going to be key factors to keep in mind. The first one, that open gap up here at 45.76. The second one being the DXY reclaiming levels like 104 and 104.40. And the third thing being the SPX closing back below 45.24 to indicate that this up here is a fake out. All right, so anything outside of that, if we don't get those things, obviously all just my opinion, not financial advice. But if we don't get those things, I think that trying to short the market up here, like I said, is risky just because we don't really have any confirmation of fatigue here yet for the S&P. But with all of that said, if we do get it, like I mentioned, there is a lot of downside here for the market to capture, and not just even areas like this, but if we were to get continued dollar strength, and it would have to be significant. But if we did get that, and the SPX did break below this level here, there's a lot of liquidity to be had in this area here. But also over the coming weeks, if we were to get something more extended, you've got areas like this down here, right? Pockets of imbalances that the market could also capture. Of course, that would require some significant dollar strength and also obviously the SPX getting back below levels like 45.24. All right, so that's it for today's video. Once again, if you guys do want to join VIP for 70% off lifetime access, see the link in the description of this video. The course launches next month. You'll get daily videos on 5 to 10 markets, exclusive charts and setups, and you'll also be able to see my trades in real time. So see the link in the description of this video. Trade well this week, guys. US holiday tomorrow. So I will talk to you again, possibly Friday, but definitely on Monday.